Today is Friday, October 12th, and this is your Weekly Roar.
There's a possibility of a bomb at the high school going off at noon. We needed to hit every single part of that high school to make sure it was safe and secure as possible. We didn't find anything that matched what the threat was.
A bomb threat at Newark High School caused a significant change to the daily routine on Thursday. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Weekly Roar. I'm Joe Kurzawa.
And I'm Brandy Harris. More from our exclusive interview with Mr. Truitt taken just hours after the situation in just a moment. Also on today's show, we will get a check on our NHS sports teams, look at our school news and upcoming dates, and hear from John Robinson about our more seasonable weather forecast.
But first to our top story. A bomb threat was called into Newark High School in the early hours of the morning. The message indicated that a bomb was going to detonate at 12 noon yesterday. I had a chance to speak with Mr. Truitt just hours after the situation was cleared.
Could you please explain what happened and what caused the lockdown and the transfer of students to the auditorium?
We had a call on the voicemail late last night that we didn't get until this morning on the main number of the school line, saying that there's a possibility of a bomb at the high school going off at noon. We followed our protocol. We worked closely with the police department and even Homeland Security to the extent that to have safety plans in place. We did a lockdown procedure. Obviously, at that point, we decided, following the protocol, that we'd search every book bag and those sorts of things. And the thought process behind that is, if we didn't want to move everybody to a centralized location and have them take stuff that we didn't search. And that's based on some research in our protocol. So that was why that decision was made. It also allowed us a chance to completely sweep and secure the auditorium so we could get all the students safely over there.
Okay. Were there any suspicious items found in that sweep?
No, not at all. We were mainly looking for anything that was bomb-like and, just kind of swept over anything else. So we didn't find anything that matched what the threat was.
When did school, so okay, you said you learned of the situation on the voicemail. So was there any kind of centralized place on campus for the threat?
No, it just had mentioned the high school in general. And that was part of the concern, is that we needed to hit every single part of that high school to make sure it was safe and secure as possible.
As far as the threat, are there any suspects responsible for this?
We don't have any at this time. However, I can tell you that the local police department is pursuing that very rapidly. They have, through the technology, looking at how they can trace calls and those sorts of things, which is beyond me understanding. But I can guarantee you there's a force looking at that, and it would be the school's position if we found out who did that. That is absolutely an illegal activity, and would prosecute that to the fullest extent of the law.
Are you concerned the way students responded to the directions in the auditorium?
I think overall the students responded very well. It's certainly not pleasant when you have to sit in a classroom longer than you anticipate. And I know students, some are getting antsy, some need to use the restroom, and for the most part, students were very cooperative. We did have a few that weren't, and we'll deal with that and handle that. The one thing, and I'll just remind students that that student safety is always in my best interest, and the teachers also. And if teachers ask students to do something, especially in those situations, we need to do it. And we had a handful of students that weren't listening to what some of the teachers were saying, and that just adds to frustration and takes us away from the issue. And we're doing what's best. We know what we're doing, and we're handling it. And you have to have confidence in us that we're doing that and do what we ask. And like I said, but the majority of students were outstanding. And like I said, if you were part of that handful that weren't, you just need to learn a lesson from that and do what the adults are asking you to do in these situations.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that the students are now prepared if this incident was not a hoax or if the incident actually escalated?
If the incident hadn't been a hoax, I mean, we handled it, following all the protocols, working with the police department. I can't sit here and say 100% what would happen in all those different situations. I mean, we handled it the best way we can, the safest way we could. Got the majority, got all of the students and all the staff in the safest location, although it was uncomfortable in the auditorium. We were packed in there. That was the safest way to do that. You're always pretty sure when someone calls in a bomb threat, there's always that thing, well, it's probably somebody who's not serious, but we're always going to take it seriously, and we're always going to go through that. We're never going to take safety to chance.
And now, is there any thoughts you'd to the parental response for the students? I mean, do you want to say anything?
Well, one thing, and I think that was unclear, any day during school, a parent's allowed to come and sign their son and daughter out. So the procedures today weren't any different. I do know that a few students were calling parents for fact after talking to parents and said, the school's asked us to call you and come get us. And that wasn't the case. If for any reason we ever did cancel school, that would be on Channel 19, that would be on the news, that would be on the radio. You shouldn't take a cell phone call from a student that's the gospel truth to it. We would never keep students there if it wasn't a safe place to be. The safest place to be at that point was in the auditorium. Parents certainly always have the right to come pick up their sons and daughters. They're allowed to do that, but we weren't asking them to do that in this case. And if we ever did, we would have that publicly announced.
The good news, of course, is that everyone is safe. School officials say that they will take every threat to student safety seriously. Hopefully, we don't have another situation like this for a long time.
Now for a look at our weather with meteorologist Johnny Robinson.
Thanks, guys. Well, the extreme heat is gone for now, and we've been enjoying some more seasonal temperatures. A little wet, but much cooler. The autumn feel will stick around, although temperatures will warm up a little at the beginning of next week. Looking at the national map, there doesn't appear to be anything around our region of the country. If we take a look at Ohio, we notice that there's not much headed our way in terms of precipitation, just a few clouds. Today, sunny with a high of 57 and a low of 33. And going into next week, we'll see a slight increase in temperatures. Saturday, sunny with a high of 60 and a low of 39. Sunday, sunny with a high of 63 and a low of 40. Monday, partly cloudy with a high of 67 and a low of 49. Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 69 and a low of 45. That's it for the weather. Back to you guys.
For a while, I thought it was going to be summer and then jumped right into winter.
I love the warmth, but school is just not as much fun when you're sweaty.
Okay, no need for a segue that plays off sweaty, so it's time for news.
Application for the following scholarships are now available in the guidance office. Coca-Cola scholarship applicants must be high school seniors with a minimum GPA of 3.0. Deadline to apply is October 31st. Also, the Ron Brown Scholar Program. This scholarship is for African American students who demonstrate academic achievement, leadership, and community service. Financial need is also a factor.
Attention students, if you have volunteered in your community over the past year, you could win $1,000 and a fabulous trip to Washington, D.C. next May. It's easy to apply online for the Prudential Spirit of Community Awards program. This awards program is open to any high school student in recognition for their volunteer service to their community. For more information and instructions on how to apply, it's in the guidance office. Deadline is October 31st. It's coming up fast, so make sure it gets done.
Attention students in health sciences. The Ohio State University is sponsoring a health science majors fair on Wednesday, October 24th from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Recreational and Physical Activities Center at Ohio State main campus. More info is available in the guidance office.
Attention sophomores and juniors. Are you interested in registering for the PSAT? Well, you better hurry up because registration ends today. The PSAT is a great way to start your college search. Hear feedback from prospective colleges. It is also a great prep for the real SAT. It'll be given this coming Wednesday, the 17th in the library. Juniors, this is your only chance to qualify for the National Merit Scholarship. That's kind of a big deal. So make sure you go and register now and bring your $14 fee.
The choir boosters are selling Wildcat window clings for your car or your parents' cars. They're $2 each and are available for purchase from Vicky Howe, Fine Arts Secretary in Building K. We are also selling Wildcat discount cards for local restaurants, putt-putt golf, and more. If you would like to purchase one, they are $10. Each one can be used all year long. They can be purchased from any choir student.
Attention all students, if you are interested in joining the Newark High School bowling team, please sign up in room 200C. The first 2 days of conditioning will be October 20th and 27th at 1 p.m. at AMF Valley Lanes on 21st Street. Tryouts will be held on November 1st and the 7th at 4 o'clock, again at AMF Valley Lanes. If you have any questions, please go see Mrs. Wiley in room 200C.
You know, I like bowling. I think I might give it a try.
Sweet, sweet. Sports are an awesome way to stay fit and meet tons of people. Hey, speaking of sports, Lancaster is tonight. I'm so pumped.
I know it's going to be awesome. Nothing beats a fall night watching football.
Well, beating Lancaster beats it.
What?
Just agree, and we'll go to Kyle for sports.
Okay.
It's Kyle Smith here with your dose of sports from last week. The Wildcat football team beat Westland 56-7. This was a great late-season kick that the Cats needed. James Keck had another great game with 194 rushing yards on 12 carries. Trevor Spurgeon also had an outstanding performance, completing 10 of 13 passes for 218 yards. The defense held Westland to only 129 total yards. We have another challenge coming up this week as we take on the Lancaster Golden Gales at home. So come on down because they are down to 3 games left in the season. The girls' soccer team lost to Gahanna 0-2. Angela Arthur had 8 saves, and the Cats are 8-4-3 overall and 1-3-1 in the OCC. That's all we have for sports today. Have a great weekend, and go Cats.
That wraps up another successful edition of the Weekly Roar.
The Weekly Roar will not air next week because there is no school on Friday.
That's right, and the following week is OGT testing week, so the normal school will not start until 10 a.m., which is after the testing sessions each day.
That means the Weekly Roar will still air at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., but we will adjust the lunch time broadcast on Friday to 12 noon for a lunch session A and 12:35 for lunch session B.
For all of us here at the Weekly Roar, have a great week.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks when we return on October 26th. Go Cats and beat the Gales.
Bye.